Hello, everybody. Welcome back once again. My name is Jeremy, and I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Crew First Culture Podcast, the Monday Mindset Check episode. Today's topic has kind of came to me through basically conversations that I've had with the last few guests on the show. Just some those conversations, topics that were brought up, and what the great guests I've had on had to say, and just led to a lot of thinking, a lot of learning, and some growth in me, and just really just some thoughts I've had here lately, and felt like I wanted to share with everybody. And so kind of generally the general topic that I'll start with is inspiring the uninspired and giving direction to the directionless. And so we'll kind of go into it from there. And really, I've been thinking a lot just the past couple of days about, and I didn't really know the direction necessarily, but just kind of generically over this topic. And to me, I think there are so many people in the fire service right now that are uninvolved, that are, sitting on the sidelines. They're not getting into training. They don't have much of a drive to do anything. They're there for the paycheck and everything else that goes along with that. And I feel like there's so much potential there. It's not like, I don't believe these people are doing this because that's the type of people they are. I feel like if they were brought on to the fire department, there was a reason that they were brought on. Somebody brought them on because there's good in that person. So I don't think that, for the most part, these people are doing this just because they're lazy people and that's all they care about. And so that kind of brought me to that first piece of the title is the uninspired of the fire department. Are they bad people? No. Are they, for the most part, I will say, are they lazy people that don't care? I don't think so. I don't believe that. I think what they are is great potential that just needs to be tapped. I think that is how I want to explain. And I keep saying, for the most part, I can't, I'm not somebody that likes using the terms always or never, especially in the fire service. So I will say, for the most part, I don't believe those people are lazy and just, they don't care about the job. They don't care about people. I don't believe it. I believe that they are uninspired firefighters that need inspiration. And that inspiration has got to come from those that either, one, just care about them, or two, that are some type of leader above them, and that doesn't have to be formal. It could be informal, but some type of leadership, or just basically somebody that cares about them. It could be a younger firefighter below them that just cares about them enough to put some time into them, to inspire them, and to really dig some of that just passion and drive and caring for the job and the citizens that they serve, and just getting it out. And so I think that is how I want to really kind of look at those people. And for the second half of that, the title that I led with is the directionless. And so, I talked briefly about those that are kind of hanging out and not doing anything and just appearing to be slugs and all that, and what they need. Well, kind of on the exact opposite end of the spectrum are the directionless, and kind of how I perceive or who I perceive these people to be are, the super driven people, the overly passionate people, the people that rub people wrong because they're so into the job, the people that get themselves into trouble because they voice their opinion so much, and they go against leadership, and they struggle to find their spot because they just want to do more, and they just aren't satisfied with where the direction of the department or their leadership is going. And so, like I said, that the opposite end of that spectrum are these people. And what I have to say about them is I don't think they're doing it just to be jerks. I don't think, for the most part, again, that they're doing it just because they're troublemakers. What if these people are the best resources your department has? They just need some direction. They just need some help to focus that energy, to, like we talked about in the last episode with Nick, they just need help finding some positive outlets for that passion, for that drive, for that love of the fire service. And so I think the more I sit here and kind of go over it in my head, I feel like there is so much untapped potential in the fire service right now that involves both of these categories. And it's easy for a leader to sit there and write these people off, write the lazy people off, and just kind of ignore them, and whatever, I'm going to do my own thing, and you can go over there and be lazy. And I've literally said the exact same thing, and it's a balancing act. You can't let people that aren't driven, aren't passionate, that are maybe very negative, you can't let those people rob you of what you have. You can't let them rob you of the good things that you're trying to accomplish. But at the same time, you can't give up on them as well. You can't just totally push them to the side and leave them out of everything because you don't want to deal with it. You still have to do your part in leading them, trying to pull them in the right direction. And it kind of goes for the opposite end of that as well. And it's the loud, troublemakers, that want to push the boundaries, that want to kind of push the edges of what's, in policy, what's out of policy, the type of people that administration really don't like because they're always pushing against the grain. And the same thing goes for them. They just need help finding a direction to go. They just need help figuring out how to positively channel that aggression, that passion. And as leaders, if we aren't finding ways to try to reach these people, to try to reach the people that are checked out, to try to reach the people that are pushing their leaders to the limits, if we aren't trying to find ways of channeling what they have, what they could potentially give to the department and to the other firefighters around them, then we're failing everything. We're failing the department, we're failing our crews, and we're failing these firefighters, because they truly could just need a little nudge, a little direction, a little inspiration. And that's it, just a little bit of effort, a little bit of your time. And that could make the biggest difference in the world for them personally and for their career. And not even just for them, but for others around them. If you sit back and just take an example of a senior firefighter that has been on the job for a long time and seen a lot of stuff and is really good skill wise and just has so much to give, but they're they're just not into training. They're just not into kind of giving that knowledge and those skills out to others. if if you could just figure out a way to tap into that firefighter's, whatever it is, his psyche or her psyche, whatever it is, if you could figure out a way to pull that out of them, to get them to want to share it, if you could figure out a way to reach these people and truly change their whole mindset and turn it into somebody that has all that experience, that has all that talent and all that ability, and they are now one of the best leaders of the department, that right there will take you, will take your department, will take your crew to levels that you could not even imagine better from where you're at. And really it just comes down to, what are you willing to invest as a leader? Are you willing to invest time to pull these people along? Are you willing to invest patience to deal with some of these people just pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to see how far they can go? Are you willing to do that in order to see the brighter future that could be there? And I think that's kind of, where I want to really draw your attention for the week, and give you some things to think about, because like I started out, I truly think the fire service in general is just full of people in these two categories. Yeah, there are a lot of people that are fired up and that are doing great things, and they're channeling their passion and all that in good ways and doing good things. I'm not trying to say there's not, but there are so many people on both ends of that one category, and the the lower end and the higher end. And so as leaders, we've got to figure out a way to pull those people that are checked out up, and we've got to figure out a way to pull those over the top aggressive directionless people down, and figure out ways to reach them all. Because I've heard it said several different ways. I've put a post out a while back, the rule of thirds. You got a third of the people that just don't care. They just don't give a crap. They're here for a paycheck. You got a third of the people that are really fired up for the job and doing great things. And then you got a third of the people that are just negative, they are against everything you come up with. It doesn't matter. And no matter what is brought up, you'll always have a third of the people that are for it, a third of the people that are against it, and a third of the people that don't care. And that's just, it's just kind of a saying or a quote. Obviously the numbers aren't right on. I've heard it kind of say in different ways. There's 60% that are good people or good employees. There's 10% that are terrible. Whatever it is, it's all made up, and it's just kind of for demonstration purposes. But taking my kind of version of that, a third of the people are in the right spot. A third of them are where they need to be and doing what they need to do, and reaching people and helping people. But you have 2/3 of the department. And again, I know this is just kind of making stuff up, but 2/3 of the people left. And just think of, that is over 60% of the people involved that are potentially good firefighters, that are good people, that can do good things. And so those are the people we have got to focus on touching, reaching, finding ways to talk to them in a way that speaks to them, to inspire them, to give them direction. And so really that's kind of all I've got to say. I know if you are involved in the fire service, really anything, I'm sure that this kind of speaks to life in general as well. It is like most of the things that I like to talk about. But if you are on the fire service, you know people like this. You know people that are checked out, that all they want to do is put their stuff on the rig in the morning and go sit in a recliner as long as they possibly can get away with. And you also know people that, they have a lot of potential, but they just can't keep themselves out of trouble. They just can't keep their mouth shut. They just want to push and push and push. And so that being the case, that these people are at every department that there is, we've got to find a way to reach them. We've got to find a way to draw them towards that middle ground that is going to be so much more productive for everybody. And so I hope that leaves you with something to really think about. Like I said, I think this is an area that as leaders, we really need to spend some time and kind of maybe start identifying who these people are. Okay, so-and-so, he's probably on that checked out category. I got to figure out a way to find some motivation in him. I've got to find a way to inspire him to start doing more. Or you can look at, the other person over here and say, man, I think that person has so much to give. He's so talented, but he just can't stop undermining authority, and he can't stop pushing policies and all that. And so I've got to find a way to give him some direction. I've got to find a way to help her channel these things in a positive way. And so, again, I hope that this kind of gives you something to think about for the week. We all have people like this. There's so much talent. There's so much positivity that can be gained if we could figure out a way to reach these people. And so give us some time this week, identify who these people are in your organization, in your crew, and really start to game plan on how we can start reaching these people. And I think we can make such a huge difference in the fire service if we start figuring out a way to reach these two categories. And once again, find a way to inspire the uninspired, and find a way to give direction to those that are directionless. And so I'll leave you with that. I appreciate your time as always. I want to thank you so much for tuning in again. Like to, as I've said before, I like to keep the Monday ones fairly short. Don't want to keep you too long, but I want to ask you if you do enjoy the podcast, if you're getting something from it, please share it. Please write a review, like it, download, whatever you can do. Let me know, direct message. I really enjoy hearing from those out there listening, and just it helps me to stay inspired myself, and it helps me to keep pushing forward and doing as good as I possibly can do. So thank you. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. And until then, stay safe and take care of each other.